Hello everyone, I'm back. I know it's been a while. I always like to wait to see if anyone will join me, but no one generally joins me. So I might not wait today because, I might just get into it. What's funny is I'm about to take off my shoes though because it's just a little more comfortable. I was ready to switch into sandal weather and then it just switched right back. So, all right. So, hi everyone. I haven't seen you all since February, and I'm pretty sure February Mizzen was a little weird too because I did it on my desktop and not on my iPad. So this time around we're back on the iPad. I will preface this by saying I'm a little ill-prepared because I had an activity planned for today, but then the weather was not on my side. Yeah, and then I was going to highlight the Earth Day activity that they have on the Mizzen app. But once again, weather was not on my side, plus I'm not really sure if you guys would enjoy coming along with me to pick up trash. But so we'll go into those just quickly, like the activity that I wanted to do today, and then highlighting the Earth Day one, and then we'll jump into the activity that I found for today that I thought would be kind of easy, and we also use our science notebooks, so that's nice. All right, so if you don't know me, hi, I'm Shawna Viola Washington. I am the Quality and Engagement Coordinator at the network. I do some quality advising for sites. I do some training. I like to do research too, currently, where we held some focus groups around the state to figure out how we could best support you. And we might be continuing that project, so just keep an eye or an ear to the ground. And feel free to either email me or Ken to ask about that project if you're interested in it, or if you want to share some of the challenges you've been facing, or any of those things. Also, sorry, I'm just doing some little admin updates. Also, we have our Childhood Conversations Conference this weekend. It is on Saturday. I believe registration is closed, but if you sweet talk Marla, she should be able to get you in there. Yeah. Oh, we're also having a cool little vendor fair on May 19th, I believe it is, with a rain date of June, sometime in June. But the idea is that we're going to get some vendors together and have them all outside here, and then you guys can come get some food and just kind of hang out. We might have some giveaways, some prizes and stuff, so keep an eye out for that stuff. That's May 19th. We're getting that planned now. Yeah, so I covered the conference this weekend, focus groups. Oh, last but not least, we have a PD satisfaction survey. It's open right now. It's been open for a while, and we're giving gift cards away for it. So I'll be sending out an email to anybody who has given their email to the network, just for one last stitch, like, what can we do for you? What PD do you need? So yeah, if you don't receive that email, or if you want to fill out the survey, email me. My email is swashington, like George Washington's last name, swashington@ctncy.org, and just ask me for it, and I can give you the link, and you can fill it out, and then we can know exactly what types of PD to give you. I think that's all of the updates for now, but I could be missing some. But if I remember, I will let you guys know. So let me jump right in. I'm going to show you what I wanted to do today with you guys. I'm also going to show you, and by show, I mean show you the printout. And then I'm also going to show you the Earth Day activity, and then we're going to do a cool little sketchbook activity. These are all STEM activities, and I'll let you know what grades they're for as we chat about them. So originally today I had planned for observing clouds. I know it's backwards, I'm sorry. But I had planned for observing clouds. This was geared towards grades 1 through 6. And basically I was going to bring you guys out with me, stick you on the ground, and have you look at the sky with me. and we were going to talk about the different types of clouds. And there was a cool little worksheet that came along with it where you go into the different classifications. So you have high-level clouds, which are cirrus, cirrostratus, cirrocumulus, mid-level clouds, sky color, all those cool things. That's what we were going to do today. But it's raining where I am. It might be raining where you are. I don't know. I know Connecticut's not that large, but sometimes we get different weather in different places. So naturally, I could not bring you all out on the iPad and stick it on the ground because it was going to get rained on. So no clouds, but if you have 1 through 6th grade, check it out. It's observing clouds. You should be able to search it in the search bar because Mizzen has a search bar now. It's amazing. Yeah. So there's this one. So if you're interested and you have, you need something to do with your kids at your program on a nice sunny day, definitely check this out. And then there was also this little infographic that kind of told you what certain things looked like. So like you have the colors. Down here you have fog levels or visibility levels. Excuse me. And then you have the different types of clouds. So that goes along with this, and that comes all together. So if you needed to, say, put together a little activity folder for new staff, this would probably be a good one. Probably. Although I do feel like one qualm I have with Mizzen is sometimes, and we'll touch on this a little later when we're actually doing our activity, sometimes when you go to get resources, you need to request access, but then you request access and nothing happens. You never actually get access to it. So I'm going to have to email someone about that. Anyways, so we were going to observe clouds today. We are no longer observing clouds today. As you can see, I have a little sign. We'll get to that in a little bit. Next, I was like, okay, well, Earth Day is this weekend, same day as our conference, our Childhood Conversations Conference. So if you're interested in early child care or anything related to birth to 3, birth to 5, check that out. So I was like, okay, if we can't observe clouds, let's see if we can celebrate Earth Day. So they have the Celebrating Earth Day activity. It's geared towards grades 2 through 6. And I realized it wouldn't be as fun and that weather does not permit, because this is more of like when it's nice and you go out and you clean up trash, and then I think it like goes through, like you organize the trash by if it can be recycled or thrown away. So it's really just trying to help the students learn how to properly care for our planet and to make sure that litter's making it to the right place so that it can properly be broken down. So we couldn't do that one today either because it's going to rain on us. Plus, I'm not really sure how fun it would be for you guys to watch me pick up trash. They did have a little worksheet that went along with it where you tally up what you cleaned up. So it was called the community cleanup. Keeping our neighborhood clean is good for the community and good for wildlife. Collect, sort, and then tally the types of litter. So it has cigarette butts, string, ribbons, cans or bottle caps, plastic bottles, sandwich bags, styrofoam, stuff like that. And you would tally it up. In the material, I know this is like, why do I want my kids picking up trash? Which I totally understand. But they do say to like have grabbers or gloves. Sorry, it's a Monday, guys. My brain is not working. So we can't do that today. Plus, I didn't really think it would be that fun. So I dived into my bookmarks and I was like, well, what the heck can I do today then? Because it's raining. And I found this introduction to scientific sketching. I know it's backwards, guys. But listen, if I can write backwards, you can read backwards. Anyways, so scientific sketching today, it's geared towards grades 3 through 12. It's also, one thing that I noticed is they started putting what collections it's a part of. So like say, if this activity is a part of a playlist or an activity collection, which is really helpful if you want to build a curriculum on certain things, or if you want to help new staff build curriculum. You're like, here, look at this whole activity playlist, and you can do these activities once a week, an activity a week for the next month, and you have a whole curriculum on science. Look at that. Anyways, so this is what we're doing today. I will read things as I normally do to you. So students learn how to sketch like scientists. You can teach this even if you think you can't draw, which is good because I think I can draw, but like not like an artist, obviously. It says the duration for this activity is an hour. It says that it's geared towards grades 3 through 12. And its learning objectives are for students to improve their careful observation skills and to practice sketching like a scientist, which they cover a lot on like what the difference between a scientist is and like an artist, or they, not necessarily like that, but they touch on drawing for art versus drawing for science. So the materials you'll need is your student science notebook, which if you have been with me since the beginning of Mizzen, you know that the first Mizzen activity we did was our science notebooks, which are really fun. And I've been using it every time. So this is for our aluminum boats that we made. And I believe this is for our gumdrop structures that we did. So today we got to open a new page. We have a new page. So we have our science notebooks. It says pencils. So I have my mechanical pencil here. And then it also says colored pencils, which I couldn't find any colored pencils in our supply closet, but we did have markers and crayons. So I know this is really old, right? Looks like old crayons, but they're non-rolling crayons, so they have a flat edge, which I thought was really cool. Plus, I needed something to draw with, and this was the only thing I could find, besides markers. And then a collection of items to sketch, one per student. It says example leaves, because the activity is kind of focused on leaves. But I didn't have any leaves, and I just kind of did what I just kind of used what I had, so we'll get into that quickly. And then it says the scientific sketching PowerPoint or printed example sketches. And this brings me back to my qualm. So it has these wonderful little resource links, right? So I click on the resource links, and the resource link is like, hey, you need edit access. So then I request edit access, and then I never get the access to the documents. So that's a little annoying, and I think I'm gonna have to start commenting to Mizzen about it because that's a little stressful. And it does limit you from doing certain activities sometimes. So anyways, there's a whole preparation background for educators, and it's really long. And I feel like I should read it to you because it's not like we don't have time. Let's see, it's 12:15. We have some time. I'll read it quickly. Most of us, adults and children, associate sketching with making a pretty picture. This association can limit us, especially if we feel we are not good at drawing. A scientist sketches to record and communicate information, not to make art. Along with the drawing, a scientific sketch often includes labels and diagrams, questions, and explanations. You don't have to be an artist to create a successful scientific sketch. You simply have to take time, observe closely, and record what you see. Recording what you see is different from drawing the picture you have in your head. Many of us have cartoon-like images in our head of trees, flowers, houses, apples, rabbits, etc. When you set out to sketch a real thing, it's important to focus on the individual specimen in front of you, rather than the generalized image you carry in your head. You can help students understand this by focusing on particularities of an example object, like a leaf with holes in it or an irregular rock. These particularities are often very important for scientists to record. One way to help students feel successful is to give them a few practical suggestions for how to sketch a given object. At the very least, give them a first step. This will vary depending on the object, so that they know how to get started. It says to see the PowerPoint, but we can't see the PowerPoint. That's stressful and annoying, but that's okay. We're going to move forward because despite the fact that we can't see the PowerPoint, in the activity steps, it tells you what the PowerPoint would be telling you, which is really nice of them. Sorry, I lost my spot. If you provide enough scaffolding, even those students who feel that they are bad at drawing will have an entry point. It's very likely those students will come away surprised at their own abilities. And this brings us to our wonderful little poster that I've created. And yes, I realize that my E is backwards. That's what's written here. It says, oops, it's backwards. And listen, I managed to get every other letter right except for that one E. So y'all got to give me some credit, okay? But that brings us to the mnemonic ABCDE. It gives students a clear idea of what makes a good scientific sketch, which is, a good scientific sketch is accurate, big, colorful, detailed, and explained. So, it also enables you, or me, as a teacher, to give meaningful feedback to students. Rather than praising a drawing as pretty, you can say, great job making your sketch big, or it really helps me to see those details. Or, I'm glad you included explanations in your sketch. They will help another scientist understand what's important. For constructive feedback, try, what could you do to make this sketch more accurate? Or, I bet adding color would help another scientist understand what the object really looks like. This kind of feedback is concrete enough for students to understand why they've done a good job and what steps they can take to improve their work. I love this particular part because if you are a state or a 21st century grantee, you know what the APT is. And in particular, one of the indicators on the APT is are reflective questions being asked. That's not the exact wording, but anyways. It's like, how is the teacher checking in during the activity, and what questions are they asking to actually improve cognition and not just be like, oh yeah, good job, right? So I love how this kind of tells you exactly what to say to get students thinking rather than to either just kind of celebrate and dismiss. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so gather sketching materials, which we kind of already have. I have my pen, my pencil, my notebook, my crayons, and my markers. And then it says, gather leaves or other simple natural objects for students to sketch. For activity to work, all students must have the same type of item, but many items could work. They should be simple to draw and have variation from one item to the next. It says, consider using leaves, shells, rocks, fruit, seeds, or flowers. So, as I told you, this was this morning that I was like, oh shoot, what I have planned isn't going to work. So I went to look, and I was reading this, and I was like, leaves, there are no leaves. And it says rocks. And if you know me, you know that I have a slight obsession with rocks. And by slight, I mean pretty severe. And so what I did was I went around my home and I found some rocks. It also said shells, and I have some coral, so I went with that too. Oh, my phone vibrated. Sorry. And so what I did was I gathered up some of my rocks. So I have this is a piece of fluorite. And then I have this cool little thing, which if I show it to you this way, it's even cooler. This is clear quartz with a chlorite phantom, I believe it's called, in it. And it's generally when the rock grows into points, I'm pretty sure. And then I also brought this little cool piece of coral that I believe I got on vacation like 10 years ago. And then it also said fruit, and I was like, I have a kiwi. So I brought a kiwi. It's a pretty tiny kiwi, honestly. Like, look at the size of my hand. I know it looks like the size of my head right there, but it's not. It's a pretty tiny kiwi. So these are the 4 things I've brought to color, to sketch. So let's see how we do, shall we? I'm going to go through the activity steps, but I am by no means following the activity steps because I can't. I am one person, and this kind of has like a group activity at the end, which I think is really cool. And realistically, if I were doing this and I didn't have leaves, I could feasibly provide enough similar but different rocks for students. So just remember that like if it calls for one thing, but you have another thing, like I have a plethora of rocks, genuinely speaking. A lot of them looking like this. So I could easily give the students each one, because a part of this activity is once the students sketch their leaf, what they do is you're supposed to put all the leaves in, all the real leaves in the center, and then you're supposed to lay out all the students' sketches of the leaves, and then the students are supposed to identify who sketched what leaf. So as I said, I can't really do that today. Because I am one person and I will know who sketched it. But that being said, like I said, you could easily do that with rocks, fruit. You could easily do that with fruit, especially if your kids are younger, and you have similar colored fruit. I'm trying to think of other things. Flowers, you could go to the garden, daffodils, tulips, things like that. So, don't be afraid to think outside of the box, and just remember that if you don't have all the materials, sometimes it just takes shifting one little thing. So, I'm going to read some of the instructions, and then I think I'm going to hop into sketching things. So, have students retrieve their notebooks. I have already retrieved my notebook. Open up to a new page, title it Scientific Sketch, and add this page to the table of contents. I do not have a table of contents in mine, but I am going to write Scientific Sketch on the top. I'm not going to write it backwards because that takes way too much time, and is honestly really difficult to do. Y'all can try if you want. Scientific. Now I just have to make sure I spell things right. Okay, I know it's going to be backwards, but here it is. Scientific Sketch. Cool. So, like I said, it tells you slide one. Okay, slide one. Introduce students to the purpose of a scientific sketch. If possible, do science notebooks across time as a prep activity before this one, so that students have already discovered why scientists sketch. I have not done that activity. I haven't even looked at that activity. But I'm telling you right now, after I do this one, I definitely will. If you haven't done that lesson, you can explain that scientists use sketches to capture information for themselves and communicate information to others. They often sketch when they are doing field research, observing a plant or animal they cannot take back to the lab. Sketches are sometimes more valuable than photographs because they can include specific data the scientist wants to highlight, as well as the scientist's observation and questions. See, isn't this wonderful? You barely, it gives you all of the information you need. Anyways, slide 2 says, put nervous students at ease by emphasizing that a scientific sketch is not about making a pretty picture. It's about communicating information. Explain the difference between drawing what you see and drawing the idea in your head. It says that there's more distinction in the background for educators, but we've already covered that we couldn't access those background materials, which is a little frustrating, but it's okay. We work with what we got. We're after school people. Slide 3, introduce the criteria, which is the A, B, C, D, E mnemonic, which we've already covered, but we'll go over it again. A scientific sketch is accurate, it is big, it is colorful, it is detailed, and it is explained. And yes, I know that E is backwards. It does tell you what all of these things mean. So an accurate sketch describes the true nature of an object, the size, the shape, the texture, etc., etc. Big, the sketch should be big so that we can see details rather than squished in one corner of the page and hard to make out. This is also where it's good to do the whole little circle and draw out, and then you make it bigger. Colorful, when possible, communicate more information by making your sketch colorful. Detailed, use words and drawing to make your sketch as detailed as possible. All the little details are what make the specimen you are studying distinguishable from others like it. Explained, add labels, questions, and conjectures about what you see. These words make your sketch explained. Okay, so we're on part 2, which is sketch a leaf instructions. As I mentioned, we are not sketching a leaf today, but I will read the instructions to you. Explain that students will be practicing scientific sketches with leaves or whatever object you have chosen. I have chosen a kiwi, some rocks, and a piece of coral. I'm one person doing this. Normally you would have all of your kids, and each kid would have one thing, and that's what they would draw. They wouldn't have 4 things to draw. Just putting that out there. So their task is to make a sketch that is specific enough so that other students will be able to pick their leaf or their sketch, their object, from the pile based only on their sketch. You may want to give all of the instructions up front, depending on the age group of your children, or pepper them in as you go. That's up to you. It also, in my opinion, is not necessarily dependent on a child's age a lot of the time. It's dependent on your group of kids and how they listen to you. And some groups of students do well with giving all the instructions up front. Some students do better with one at a time. So we're going to start, and I'm going to draw some things for you. And you're going to tell me how close they look. So let's see. We have slides 5, 6, 7, and 8 all written out here, but I've been reading at you a lot, and that just seems redundant, but it does kind of give you some pretty key things. It says start by placing your leaf on the page, and rather than tracing the shape of the leaf, place little dots at the ends of each needle to get a general outline of the leaf shape. Then remove the leaf from the page. I'm not drawing a leaf. I'm drawing a kiwi. That's what I'm going to start with, because I feel like the crayon will help provide a good texture for the kiwi. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get up really quick, and I'm going to move you back so that you can see. So just don't mind me for a minute. Just some technical difficulties. I'm just going to move you back so that you can see the desk, like where I'm drawing. Is that okay? You can see, right? Yeah, you can see. Okay. Kind of moved you so you can still see the whole. Perfect, we're good. Okay, I'm going to start by drawing my kiwi. I'm going to put it on my little paper. I'm going to trace around it like a big circle. Alright. Woo! Okay. Oh, it's got all its furries on it. So I drew that. This is basically, all of these instructions are telling you how to draw a leaf. Also, my foot's asleep. So, that's a little annoying. Basically, the next step is to allow the students to sketch. Give them 15 to 30 minutes. So, that's where I'm starting. I've drawn, you can't really see, but I've drawn a little outline for my kiwi, and in my outline it did give me like the little bump that's down here on this end, and luckily I have these cool, this is my own personal pencil case, and I have this little brown pen that I really want to use to outline and then create some of the little hairs. So I'm just gonna create a big circle. You might be able to see that better now. That's my kiwi circle. And so they have these little buttons on the end, and this one, I believe, was over here, and it has like these little hairs. So I went and I drew the little dark brown hairs down here. You can't really see because you're far away. That's okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to color in the center with a brown crayon, because I think it'll give us like the texture of the kiwi. But I also kind of want to draw, because if you notice on a kiwi, it's brown, yes. But if you really like look close at it, it's kind of green underneath the brown bits. So I'm almost tempted to take the marker and put a little green. And I guess as a part of my sketch, I would probably describe all of this with words. So this isn't really the right green, but I'm just gonna okay, so I've made it like a little green underneath. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to color on top with a brown crayon. See how I said they were flat? So they don't roll. Oh, you can't see that. They don't roll. Isn't that dope? That's so cool. Anyways, so now I'm just going to color over the green. It's not really, it's not really looking exact. So definitely going to have to use some words to explain my sketch. Because if I'm being completely honest, this does not look like a kiwi, in my opinion. If we were drawing the inside of the kiwi, I feel like that would be easier, but we're drawing the outside of the kiwi. So we're making it work the best we can. Also, if you hear my stomach rumbling, no you don't. Just kidding. You do. I'm hungry. I did not eat breakfast this morning, but that's okay. Make sure if your children haven't eaten breakfast that you feed them, because they might not be able to focus very well on this activity if they're hungry. Especially when you're drawing something like a kiwi. Okay, so I colored it in green. I'm going to come closer to you guys so that I could show you all the little details of my kiwi. So we have, ooh, Jesus. So we have our little fur, which is like this little fur down here. We have our little fur, see? And then it's kind of green with like the brown over it. And then, so it has like these little things. So I put those over there, you see? See what I'm saying? What do you all think? What are your thoughts on my sketch of a kiwi? I'm going to write some, let me find a marker. It's not that one. Okay, we got it, this little one. So I'm going to write little brown hairs. And then there's also little brown hairs on there, but texture rough. Woo, I spelled rough wrong. Sorry guys. R-O-U-G-H. Okay. I think I'll call it a day for that sketch because that's as good as we're gonna get. Okay? And you all just please humor me and tell me that if you saw that, you would know that it was a kiwi. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. I'm going to put a little squiggle on my page. Okay, squiggle is done. And then, oh, I kind of want to do this one. This little rock next because it has that cool little point in it. But also, I don't know, I feel like I'm one of those kids that you have to be like, don't worry, it's not going to look perfect. But then I'm going to be worried the whole time that it's not going to look perfect. I am that kid that they warn you about. But I guess, okay, what do you all think of my kiwi? Do we think that I can do a good scientific sketch of this? Also, which part do I sketch? What part of that? I think I'm probably going to do this one because you can see the green part. All right, let's start. I think I'm going to trace this one again too, just because that seems smart to me. It's hard when your fingers move. Okay, so we have a rough shape. You can't see that, but we have a rough shape. I think I'm going to use a pen just because it's like gray. Okay. So now you might be able to see a little better. That's my little scratch. I'm gonna have to make it have like all the little, you know, like make it have that crystal like, excuse me, that crystal like shape. Okay, so I've added those lines. I'm gonna continue doing it with the pen because I feel like the pen kind of matches the clear color best. I don't know. Listen, you do what you feel is best. Okay, just like your kids would. So I have my little crystal. Here's what it looks like. So I need to, there's a little fuzzy parts in the top, but I think I'm going to do the green part first. And I think I'm going to do the green part with this marker again. And so you can, oh my God. Anyway, sorry guys. You can see that like, it's pointy in this part, but it also kind of goes out in like a little squared edge. So I'm gonna try to finesse that a bit. Okay. Sorry. Oh my God. I don't even know what face I make when I'm concentrating, so sorry if it's weird or if I stick my tongue out or something weird like that. All right. So I've colored the little green part inside of it. And then it has like a little bit of like smokiness in it. So I think I'm just gonna like, oh, I might take this little black and just, yeah, that's perfect. It's not exact, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I took like this little light edge of the crayon and I like smoked it out up there. So maybe you think it looks good? I think it looks kind of good. I'm gonna write some observations on it. Let's see. Sharp point, right? And edges, because it is like sharp. And then for the green part, I think I want to like write a little note that like a rock inside of another rock. Because, and I know what it's called. It's called a phantom. So I'm just going to put that in. But if another scientist was seeing this, like, he'd be like, oh, I understand. It's not just like a green blob on the outside. It's like inside that you can see it from. So that's my rock here. I'll come up closer and show you guys. I'm also going to check the time while I'm up there because it's kind of hard. Hello to two of you who are with me. So here's my little sketch. And then I'm going to show you my little rock. Do you think you would be able to tell that this is my rock from that sketch? I think so. I think I actually did a pretty good job the second time around than I did with my kiwi. But I don't know. Oh, hey, Barb. Thanks for joining. Okay. It is 12:40. We have like 15 minutes left. I might do one more. Oh, I think we got a third person. Heck yeah. Look at me go. I'm not going to use the back side of this page because it bled through. I want to draw one more rock. And then I'm going to and then we'll finish up. And I'll go through, because I did forget some things in the beginning announcements. So we'll cover some of that. I also want to cover what the game would be, and give you the instructions for that. So yeah. Oh, and then there's a wrap up part. So maybe we'll have to hold on. Let me look ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll cover that part. I'm going to draw one more thing, one more rock for your wonderful viewing pleasure. And it's going to be this one. And this is one of my faves. Fluorite is one of my favorite rocks. And I think it's because it grows like this. It like grows. There's a name for it, and I don't want to be wrong, so I don't want to say it. But they grow in squares like this, and it's really cool. So we're gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna draw this. Although, you know, it's like drawing a cube. If you were a 90s, 2000 kid, all you did was draw cubes and like that little like, that's what this kind of drawing this reminded me of. You remember those S's that you used to draw that looked like crystals? Anyways, I digress. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to trace this one. I think this one I might do the little points that they told you to do. So there's a point here, and a point here, and a point here, and then we'll go with a point here. I kind of just went where all of nope, this isn't gonna work. I didn't like that idea. Hold on. This one's hard. I don't know. I might give up, guys. But you can't do that because what if a student wanted to give up? You don't want them to give up. So I think I'm just gonna have to like draw it by eye. Oh God. See, I told you I am the kid who's like, but no, it has to be perfect. And this part's kind of jagged. And then this part's kind of more square. But it does have like that little, and then jagged. Okay, I think I did it. You can't really see, but, and I'm looking at it from this angle. I'm gonna, don't worry, I'm gonna fix it. It's kind of green, so I'm gonna use this little green pen that I have. Just okay. It's my little outline. It kind of, okay, I'm gonna bring it close to you guys so you can see what I am seeing. So I'm looking at it from this way. So I drew that little like hole in there. See? Drew the little hole. And then that's this sword. So, but you can see that on the edge it gets a little darker, but then it gets more kind of translucent. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to put that in my sketch. And you can also see that it's not fully green. It gives kind of like blue-greeny vibes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like outline all of like the pointy parts of my sketch with marker, and then maybe fill in the other cloudy bits with like the blue and the green crayon. I don't know. It seems like a good idea, but it could be wrong. I could screw it all up. Okay. Making a mess over here. Okay, so here's my little rock that I have so far. It's not looking as good in my opinion to this guy, but you know, you live and you learn. I'm just gonna do like a little light of the blue. Okay, so we have a little light blue dusting. And then I'm gonna go back in with the green and kind of really press the green in there, because it definitely gives off more green vibes than it does blue, but I wanted to give it like that blue-green color. These crayons are kind of hard to color with, if I'm being honest. I also feel like, even though they're huge, I feel like I'm going to press too hard and break them in half. God, I'm glad I'm not like a famous YouTuber and it's just like 3 of you watching me right now, because I would be like the girl that they meme out because I make random faces doing things. Okay, actually, I think it's coming along, guys. Okay. What do we think? Here's the rock. Close-ish, right? I don't know. Anyways, okay, it's almost 12:50, so I'm going to switch to the wrap-up questions just really quick and then go back to the little leaf game. But the wrap-up says, ask students to share out what they noticed about the different sketches. How did different scientists in our group choose to record information about their leaves? So in my particular case with rocks, I choose to use different tools to show different textures, right? So crayons show a different texture than markers and whatnot, and that's kind of how I used different materials to show you. What helped you make a match? What details were important in identifying making a match? And then how is sketching as a scientist different or similar to sketching as an artist? And here's my take. Sketching as a scientist is harder, because I feel like when you're, just creating art, it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this, I feel like it needs to be perfect, but I could be wrong. Okay, so I'm just going to read through the little game really quick. So explain that students will break into smaller groups of about 10 people to play the leaf matching game. Each group needs to stand in a circle. Once you have arranged the group into small circles or one big circle, give the following instructions. Place your leaves in the middle. Place your notebooks with your sketch showing in a ring around the leaves. Don't put your notebook right next to your leaf. Take turns matching up leaves by picking them up and placing it on top of the sketch on the ones that you think match. The scientist who made the sketch can tell you whether you're right or wrong. Once all sketches are matched, you will discuss what helped make a match and what differences did you notice. All right, so that is the introducing scientific sketching activity from Mizzen. Thank you to the 3 of you who joined me. You're wonderful, and I really appreciate you. And if you're watching this activity after the fact, feel free to comment, leave any messages. There is a giveaway taking place, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of this. We're doing an activity materials giveaway, and all you have to do is like, comment, or share this one of the Mizzen videos. So you can share the October one. I believe there's October, November, December, January, February, and April at this point. So like, comment, or share any one of those videos and you will be entered to win the giveaway. Next month is our last month of Mizzen Mondays. So then after that, I will pick the winner. And yeah, you'll get some activity materials with the activity printout, so that you can do some of these cool, fun Mizzen activities in your own program. Just some housekeeping. Don't forget, Childhood Conversations Conference is this weekend. If you're interested in that, hit up Marla, because I believe registration is closed. But we'll never turn anyone away as far as I know. And yeah, yeah, if you have any PD needs, or you're struggling with something in your program, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email is swashington@ctncy.org. And yeah, if you have any questions about Mizzen or any of that stuff, that's what I'm here for. So, without further ado, I will let you go, and I will see you all. Ooh, there's my big head. I'll see you all next month. Bye, guys.